Hello. Good morning, everyone. In the last class, we were talking about Mauryan Empire. Any questions? Any doubts? Anything you would like to add, contribute? पेनड्राइव चाहिए मुझे एक पेनड्राइव चाहिए The first almost pan-Indian empire. In fact, it included almost entire subcontinent, not just pan-India. There is a reason. एक UPSC ने last year एक question पूछा था that why is India called Indian subcontinent? ये जो पूरा जो reason है subcontinent हम इसको क्यों बोलते हैं? What are the main reasons behind it? And one important factor, that was a question of geography. So geography of course is a very important factor. Region surrounded by Himalaya, पूरा जो हिंदू कुश Himalaya mountain है, and by Indian Ocean. So that is a very important reason without any doubt, part of one tectonic plate. But apart from geography, always try to find different dimensions to your answer. So apart from this factor, you could have also written the historical and cultural factors. These historical factors will be, there have been kingdoms which have united the entire subcontinent. Maurya is a very good example. Right? So Maurya example हम दे सकते हैं. You can also talk about, and because of, even if let's say there is no one political unification, without any doubt there was interaction, set of interactions. That interaction may have occurred because of movement of people, movement of traders, merchants, movement of ideas, and because of that there is a lot of cultural similarity. जैसे अभी जैसे मान लो इंडिया पाकिस्तान are two different countries, but still there are many cultural similarities. So there are many cultural similarities in the subcontinent region. ये भी एक important factor है जो आप लिख सकते हो. Okay, anything else? So in today's class, my main topic will be, so we have discussed till about 200 BC. So last Mauryan ruler Brihadrath, he was assassinated by his commander Pushyamitra Shunga. यहाँ पे हमने खत्म किया था. So I will briefly talk about Shunga dynasty and as well as Kanva dynasty, but ठीक है, that's a very small topic. So mainly I'm going to talk about now what happened from about 200 BC to let's say coming of जो common era है, जो Christian era है, 1 AD. Right, ये जो 200 साल है उसमें क्या होता है? So in 200 years I will briefly tell you what is happening in different part of the country, and I want you to imagine the map. So in 200 years जो Magad empire है, that Magad empire remained, but the territories of Magad empire significantly contracted. Magad empire, especially ruled by Shunga empire, Pushyamitra Shunga and his son Agnimitra, that was limited to the region of Patliputra. So Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Bengal जो region है, it was limited to that. In the northwest frontier, Greeks, we have talked about Greeks, Alexander's invasion, right? And then Chandragupta Maurya had defeated Seleucus Nicator. ये चीजें हमने discuss करी थी. So Seleucus Nicator, even though defeated, जो Greek kingdom है, especially in the region of Pakistan, Afghanistan, upper part of Pakistan, Afghanistan, as well as some part of Central Asia, Persia also, that Greek kingdom did not go anywhere. So Greek settlement remained. When Magad empire declined by 2nd century BC, a type of, even among Greek rulers there were many rebellions, and one of the Greek king, his name was Apollodotus. So Greek का जो main center था वो Bactria region है. There is a place called Bactria. It is near Amu Darya river in Afghanistan. So जो Bactria region of Afghanistan है, there Greeks had settled themselves. But later one of the king rebelled and made Gandhar his territory. So the Greek settlement है that now shifted towards subcontinent region. और ये जो गंधार रीजन में जो ग्रीक सेटलमेंट है, they were called Indo-Greek people या Indo-Greek kings. So we will talk about Indo-Greek kings and their contribution. But what is happening in other part of the country? So in other part of the country, in Deccan, a very important and a very powerful kingdom emerged. It's called Satvahan. So we'll talk about Satvahana dynasty also. सो सातवाहना डायनेस्टी का जो रूल होगा दैट विल इंक्लूड ऑलमोस्ट इंटायर ऑफ मॉडर्न महाराष्ट्र as well as part of Madhya Pradesh, जो lower part of Madhya Pradesh है, and part of upper part of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana जो region है, this entire region that was ruled by a dynasty called Satvahana dynasty. So now in fact we are going to see for the first time that ये जो ideas हैं, the ideas of in fact I will not use the word as such religious idea because Hindu religion is Hindu religion is more than religion, it is a philosophy. So ये जो है these ideas are also now propagating to other part of the country. We will discuss that how Satvahana rulers claimed themselves to be upholder of, let's say, fourfold Varna system. They themselves claimed themselves to be Brahmins, not even Kshatriyas. They claimed themselves to be Brahman rulers. And in southern part of the country, you have Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, three very important kingdoms which ruled region of Tamil Nadu, Kerala and lower part of Andhra Pradesh region. So Chola, Cheras, Pandyas, if time permits, we will discuss in today's class, but that will be the topic of next class. But main जो हमारा topic होगा that will be what is happening in northwest frontier and what is happening in the Deccan region. So in northwest frontier, Indo-Greek rulers, in Deccan region, Satvahana rulers, and in north, you have Shung Empire. So Mauryan Empire has declined, you have Shung Empire. So that is how you can place these different dynasties and these are contemporary dynasties. इसमें बहुत सारा overlap है. जो Greeks हैं, जो Satvahans हैं, Greeks, Shakas, Parthians, we'll talk about that also, Shakas, Parthians, who are these people. So they are contemporary to emergence of Satvahana as well as Shunga dynasty in the Magad. Anyways, just few things about Magad. Just give this heading Shunga dynasty. Shunga dynasty. Shunga dynasty. Shunga dynasty is again one of those dynasties जहाँ पे काफी सारा political debate हुआ है. The political debate is, in the very first class I may have told you, देखो एक ना हिस्ट्री में एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ होती है. हिस्ट्री में स्पेशली जब आप एंशियंट हिस्ट्री पढ़ते हो और मिडिवल हिस्ट्री फॉर दैट मैटर आप पढ़ते हो तो दो चीज़ें होती हैं. पहला तो आपको ये देखना होता है कि व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैपेंड, एंड दैट इज अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट थिंग टू आंसर बाय द वे. व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैपेंड बिकॉज यू डू नॉट हैव अ सोर्स जो कि हिस्ट्री की तरह लिखी गई हो. हाउ वी स्टडी हिस्ट्री, वी डू नॉट फाइंड सिमिलर टेक्स्ट बुक for ancient period. You have to use different sources. We talked about sources, how we are going to use epics or Puranas or even Arthashastra, which is a book about statecraft, or different type of textbooks to reconstruct that what is happening in different part of the country. So जो history है उसको deconstruct करना खुद में बहुत मुश्किल है. That is the first part. And the second part is that if something is happening, then why is it happening? Okay. So पहले तो historians have to agree upon that what is happening. पहले जैसे बहुत सारी चीज़ों में डिबेट होता है. इन द वेरी फर्स्ट सेकेंड क्लास आई टोल्ड अबाउट आर्यन इन्वेजन, आर्यन माइग्रेशन वर्सेस थर्ड थ्योरी दैट अ नेटिविस्ट थ्योरी ऑफ आर्यंस, दैट आर्यंस इमर्ज्ड इनटू इंडिया. अब यहाँ पे देखो, यहाँ पे डिबेट क्या है, व्हाट हैपेंड. ये नहीं है कि व्हाई इट हैपेंड. द डिबेट इज अबाउट व्हाट हैपेंड. डिड इन्वेजन अकर, डिड माइग्रेशन अकर, और डिड आर्यंस ओरिजिनेट इनटू इंडिया. ओके. So as of now, the most accepted theory is that they migrated. There is no proof of invasion per se, which was, by the way, a very popular theory. Just 15 years down ago, it was a very popular theory. Old NCERT में ये चीज़ पढ़ाई गई थी. जो बहुत पुराने NCERT है वहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है कि Aryans invaded and because of that, Harappan civilization declined. तो यहाँ पे देखो डिबेट क्या है, what happened. But then at the same time, there will be many debates that why it happened. अब what happened, if there is a consensus on what happened, तब जो second level of debate है वहाँ पे ideology plays a very important role. Ideology is that all of us have biases. सबसे पहले तो clear होना चाहिए that सबके अंदर bias होते हैं. कोई भी अगर ये बोल रहा है कि वो न्यूट्रल है, देन वो खुद से झूठ बोलने की बात है, बाकियों को भी झूठ बोलने की बात है. न्यूट्रलिटी जो नहीं होता है, we will have biases and it's okay, that is totally fine. Biases occur because how we have brought upon what जो हमारे इनिशियल लेवल ऑफ लर्निंग्स होंगे, जो हम अपने घर में सीखेंगे, द थिंग्स वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न इन आवर फैमिली, the things we are going to learn out from first teachers, from our peer groups, all of that has a very major role. तो जो हमारा childhood में a lot of, and in fact it also becomes source of many preconceived notions and prejudices, that you suddenly have a preconceived notion against a certain section of people of different ethnicity, religion, caste, region. You will use them, एक ये में आप use करोगे कि ये लोग तो ऐसे होते हैं, right? बहुत बार होता है ना, हम बोलते हैं ये लोग तो ऐसे होते हैं. तो ये जो है these are prejudices, these are preconceived notions कि जहां पे आपके पास डेटा कितना है, you witnessed 3-4 people, but those 3-4 people plus lot of sayings from your peer groups and from your family and from your first teachers, and you suddenly have an opinion about an entire group of people. So this is, for example, this is where bias has a negative connotation. Lot of times biases जो है, that is totally fine. So what happens when you grow up, you find other evidences, lot of those biases हो सकते हैं धीरे धीरे dilute होंगे, lot of those biases may strengthen also. You find those evidences which further strengthen your biases. But so being aware about your biases, that is very important, right? Because that is the first step towards critical thinking, right? Second thing, that ideology, आपका एक ideology भी होगा, that is again totally fine. But you have to be aware about them. If you are analyzing an event, if you are studying something, and if you are trying to project something with an ideology, you should be very much aware about the footfalls of it. Like there will be limitations to your analysis. So even historians have biases. There will be historians who are going to see things. जैसे during British period, a very important strand of historians called nationalist historians emerged. Nationalist historians did lot of study about ancient period, especially Mauryan period, Gupta period, and उनका एक जो बहुत main goal ये था, वो ये था कि जो Britishers, the way they are trying to establish themselves as a supreme race, white people who have to, like white people burden का जो पूरा idea है, that they have come here to civilize the uncivilized people. So nationalist historians का एक बहुत important goal क्या था कि ये जो uncivilization, we were very much civilized, even more civilized than you. So that was one strand of history. Another strand of history is Marxist history, जिसको हम left wing historian बोलते हैं. Now left wing historians will look at things at class struggle among different set of people. Okay, so one of the biggest criticism in India of regarding history writing is that most of the history has been monopolized by Marxist historians, and ये जो biases हैं, those biases have propped up. Another history can be subaltern history. Now subaltern history is a very new way of looking at history. That rather than looking at from this kings and queens perspective, let's look at from common people's perspective, and let's look at other dimensions of history. Not just focus on political history, but let's focus on social history, economic history, things, cultural history, things like that. उस पे focus करते हैं. ये भी एक बड़ा एक important strand of history है. So there will be historians belonging to different school of thought. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो fix होगा. They will, of course, they can belong to more than one school of thought or all schools of thought simultaneously, and that is again totally fine. Now as a reader, our job is that if you have been presented a set of argument, you are going to do a critical analysis. If you are not satisfied with those set of arguments, go and read more about it. But one problem which I have witnessed in these times is that often without actually studying about something, without reading about something, we often tend to accept or reject based on what already our preconceived notion is. कि आपके दिमाग में एक set of ideas हैं that ये हुआ होगा और ये होना चाहिए होगा. Based on that, I am going to give you two sets of evidences. One is in line with your idea, one is opposite to your idea. You are going to accept the idea which is in line with you. A very famous theory in psychology exists, it is called confirmation bias. कि आपके जो preconceived notions हैं उसको अगर कोई confirm करता है, then you are going to accept those ideas with like quite ease, but you are going to reject those ideas जो आपके existing biases या existing जो भी ideas हैं उसको question करते हैं, right? So the reason I am mentioning is, all of this I am mentioning is because of the context of Shung Empire. अब जो Shung Empire है, they were Brahmin rulers, and Shung empires have been debated a lot by historians. Certain Buddhist texts, not certain in fact, one or two Buddhist texts mention that Shung adopted a very tough attitude. No, forget tough attitude. They had a very, what should I say? What should be the correct word? एक बिल्कुल ही that they started destroying stupas and they started, in fact, many monks may have been killed also because of them. Okay, so because they are Brahmins, so a Hindu and Buddhist conflict in ancient India that has been portrayed. But at the same time, many historians believe that ये जो एक text है या hardly two texts हैं, they are not enough to actually come to certain conclusions. So there are many historians who have portrayed this as a historical fact that Shungas became destroyer of Buddhism. But at the same time, we have many evidences which show that that actually did not happen. In fact, many times Shungas patronized Buddhism. Certain stupas were built by them, especially by Pushyamitra Shunga. And ऐसे नहीं है कि Buddhism जो है, in fact, Buddhism did not decline at this period of time. Buddhism was very much prospering. In fact, Buddhism का जो prosperity है, it further increased later after once Shungas in this period. तो ये जो बुद्धिज्म एंड ब्राह्मण कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है, लॉट ऑफ हिस्टोरियंस हैव यूज्ड फ्यू टेक्स्ट एज अ हिस्टोरिकल फैक्ट, बट मेनी हिस्टोरियंस बिलीव दैट दिस इज एग्जैजरेटेड, समथिंग लाइक दिस डिड नॉट हैपन. तो यहाँ पे जो पूरा मेरा पॉइंट है, बायस वाला जो पॉइंट है कि हिंदू वर्सेस बुद्धिस्ट फाइट, नाउ दैट वाज पोर्ट्रेड बाय सम मार्क्सिस्ट हिस्टोरियंस, लेफ्ट विंग हिस्टोरियंस, बट मेनी हिस्टोरियंस डू नॉट एग्री टू दैट. जो बहुत सारे बाकी स्टैंड ऑफ हिस्टोरियंस है, they will say that something like this did not occur. In any case, all of this discussion, एक जो आप जब हिस्ट्री पढ़ रहे हो, तो do not read history with agenda back of your mind, कि आपके दिमाग में पहले से एजेंडा एक, and you already have made up your mind कि किस चीज को आप एक्सेप्ट करोगे, किस चीज को रिजेक्ट करोगे. तो फर्स्ट रीड द सेट ऑफ आर्ग्यूमेंट्स, रीड द एनालिसिस. इफ यू आर नॉट हैप्पी विथ इट, देन ट्राई टू फाइंड काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट्स. लाइक व्हाट कैन बी काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट्स, कहाँ पे लूप होल्स हैं, find those loopholes. That is how critical thinking starts. But do not read history with an agenda at the back of your mind. This will especially be very very important for medieval history. Ancient में तो चलो फिर भी कम है, medieval history में बहुत important होगा. That एक agenda के साथ history पढ़ने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं है. Anyways, just write down few things. Shung Empire. Yes. Even if there is royal patronage, even then there will be friction. Religion often has taken shape bigger than state itself. So even with royal patronage, there will be conflict. But what is your question?
Ashoka's rule, it had a royal patronage. It was the prime religion of that time. So when the royal patronage shifts, like there is a difference between being a minister or being a prime minister.
Okay.
So like I believe, so some amount of friction would have come.
Yeah. Again, I do not have any doubts that some sort of friction, so especially Shung Empire की जब हम बात करते हैं, that some sort of conflict, even I think that even before, just after death of Ashoka, 232 BC and Brihadrath 187 BC, there is a huge gap. I am saying that even in this period, lot of conflict must have occurred. But using, एक होता है conflict, एक होता है कि you do not have evidences of destruction of stupas or killing of monks. Few texts, one or two texts mention it, but they have been used as a historical fact, which should be questioned, which should be critically analyzed, rather than accepting it as a fact. There may be, आप एक counter argument ये भी हो सकता है ना कि because patronage to Buddhism declined, and because of that many people who wrote these books, they had a again very attitude कि let's portray them in negative light. ये भी एक हो सकता है, right? So we have to be critical about it. That is all I'm saying. We do not have to accept these things as historical fact. So just write down few things here. Give this heading Pushyamitra Shunga. Pushyamitra Shunga. So write down 187, from 187. So time period of Shung Empire is from 187 BC to 57 BC. So sorry, 75 BC. From 187. Overall Shung Empire का जो time period है, that is from 187. So we are actually प्रोग्रेसिंग टुवर्ड्स क्रिश्चियन एरा, जो कॉमन एरा जिसको हम बोलते हैं फर्स्ट एडी, फर्स्ट सेंचुरी की जो हम बात करते हैं. सो पुष्यमित्र शुंग हिमसेल्फ रूल्ड फ्रॉम 187 टू अबाउट 151 BC. Write down few things here. Just few things. There are few online doubts. Some important locations with respect to Mauryan Empire. जो Ashokan inscriptions है, they are the most important locations. जो handout मैंने दिया था. These are the most important locations you need to remember. Sanjay has a question. Can we say over centralization, Brahminical reaction and Hun's invasion? Hun's invasion यहाँ पे नहीं होगा. Hun's invasion will be very important reason for Gupta's decline, not for Maurya's decline. But Brahminical reaction, yes, that can be mentioned. ये क्या है? शून्यवेश. I do not know. Okay. Write down few things here. Pushyamitra Shung was Brahman army chief of Brihadrath. Pushyamitra Shung was Brahman army chief of Brihadrath. Brahman army chief of Brihadrath. Brahman army chief of Brihadrath. The last Mauryan king. The last Mauryan king. Pushyamitra killed Brihadrath and Pushyamitra killed Brihadrath and established himself on throne. Established himself on throne. अच्छा सॉरी, शून्य निवेश था. शून्य निवेश वाज बेसिकली अ लैंड जो कि अभी तक वो नहीं कोई एग्रीकल्चर हो नहीं रहा. नो एग्रीकल्चर टिल नाउ, बट नाउ यू आर गोइंग टू मेक इट एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड. सो शून्य निवेश, you have zero investment here, and after once you invest it, then state is going to increase its revenue. That is the meaning of shunya nivesh. अच्छा, by the way, he did not, हो सकता है कि immediately he must not have become king. There must have been some sort of conflict here. So he may have become king in about 186 BC or 185 BC. Coming to a year यहाँ पे exactly 187, 186 or 185, but definitely by 185 BC he is the emperor of Magad. But exactly which year, that will be very difficult. आप लिख सकते हो. He established himself on throne in either 186 or 185 BC. In 186 or 185 BC. There are few things which you should know about Pushyamitra Shung. जैसे Indo-Greeks at this point of time invaded Magad. He was able to thwart Greek invasion. That is the first thing. Second thing is that at this point of time, Kaling, which was part of Mauryan Empire, Kaling had declared himself to be independent, and it was ruled by a dynasty called Chedi dynasty. And one of the kings of Chedi dynasty was Kharavela. We know about Chedi dynasty as ruler of Kaling as a reason from a very famous inscription called Hathi Gumfa inscription. So Hathi Gumfa inscription talks about Kharavela. It also talks about his dynasty and his achievements. So at this point of time, Kaling has become independent. Similarly, many territories in northwest, जो अभी modern Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat जो region होगा, they had broken away from Magad Empire. They also became independent. So जो पूरा pan-Indian empire था, that pan-Indian empire that did not exist. So just write it down. He successfully thwarted attack from Greek kings, Menander and Demetrius. He also saved Magad. From an attack by Kalinga king Kharavela. इसमें एक लाइन आप लिख सकते हो सब बुलेट पॉइंट में. Kharavela belonged to Chedi dynasty. Kharavela belonged to Chedi dynasty. Chedi dynasty. And Kaling had become an independent kingdom. Kaling had become an independent kingdom. Right on. He followed Brahmanism. But also patronized Buddhism. For example, stupas at Sanchi and Berhut were renovated. Stupas Sanchi and Berhut were renovated. इसी में एक लाइन लिख लेना. However, a Buddhist text Divyavadana, mentions that he adopted animosity towards Buddhism. He performed Vedic sacrifices. Such as Ashwamedh, Rajsui and Vajpayee. In fact, in some inscriptions it is mentioned that he is restorer of Ashwamedh. That Ashwamedh jo pura hai, he is restorer of Ashwamedh as a sacrifice. Two more things which you should know. This is one, in the very first class I told you that kings are not the only important personalities, kings and queens, which you need to know. You also need to know other famous personalities. Just one of the most famous personalities, Patanjali. And Patanjali was patronized, Patanjali who wrote Mahabhashya, Yoga, all of same Patanjali. He was patronized by Pushyamitra Shung. आप लिख सकते हो. Patanjali, a Sanskrit grammarian who wrote Mahabhashya. Patanjali a Sanskrit grammarian who wrote Mahabhashya, was patronized by him. Was patronized by him. So there are two books on Sanskrit grammar which you must know. One is Ashtadhyayi, written by Panini himself. We talked about that. So Panini is the one of the great compilations, one of the great work in linguistics. Just जो भी linguist experts होंगे, language experts होंगे, even today they believe that it is one of the most intellectually it is one of the most important textbook of ancient world, not just of ancient India. Even Patanjali, when he writes Mahabhashya, he accepts the authority of Panini, that he is the pioneer of Sanskrit grammar. So he first gives a tribute to Panini and then he writes his own book. So two books, Mahabhashya and Ashtadhyayi. Give the next heading, Agnimitra. There are only few things about Agnimitra which you should know. First is he is son of Pushyamitra Shunga. Second thing which you should know is that he is actually hero of one of the plays written by Kalidas. Kalidas, again a great poet, but he belonged to Gupta era. So Kalidas wrote a poem called Malvika Agnimitram. Malvika Agnimitram is a love story between Malvika, who is a courtesan, and Agnimitra, who is Agnimitra, Shunga Empire, belonging to Shunga Empire. So because of that, Agnimitra is a very famous character. He is also very famous because at one point of time he fought with Bidharv. Bidharv had become independent, so he fought with Bidharv as a kingdom. It became part of Magad, but when he was ruler, Bidharv now became independent again. इतना डिटेल में हमको जानने की जरूरत नहीं. Just two things, write on. He was son of Pushyamitra. From about 149 to 141 BC. Exactly अब time period पे इतना ज़्यादा परेशान होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. So about 149 or 150 BC to 141 BC. Exact time period. He ruled only for about 10 years, not more than that. So exact time period going into that is not required. Write down, he was son of Pushyamitra Shunga. He was son of Pushyamitra Shunga. He is hero of Kalidasa's poem Malvika Agnimitram. Write down in next paragraph. The last Shunga ruler was killed by his minister Vasudeva Kanva. Was killed by his minister Vasudeva Kanva. The last Shunga ruler, his name was Devbhuti, by the way. आपको लिखना हो तो आप लिख सकते हो. I don't think it's very important to remember that. So last Kanva ruler, if you want to write down, you can mention bracket में Devbhuti. The last Shunga ruler, Devbhuti was killed by his minister Vasudeva Kanva, who established Kanva dynasty. Yes, somebody had a question. मुझे पता नहीं चल रहा कहाँ से बोल रहे हो आप. Please raise your hand. Kanu dynasty ruled till 28 BC. Kanu dynasty ruled till 28 BC. BC. The last Kanva king was killed by a Satvahana king. Satvahana king. We are going to talk about Satvahanas in today's class itself. So anyways, this ended Magad Empire जो हम पढ़ते हैं, and Patliputra as a great king. By the way, Kanva rulers, their capital was not Patliputra. आप लिख सकते हो. The capital of Kanva rulers was Vidisha. The capital of Kanva rulers was Vidisha. So this concludes our discussion about Magad Empire. But Magad Empire not exactly as Magad Empire, but जब हम Gupta Empire पढ़ेंगे about Chandragupta from Gupta dynasty and Samudragupta and Chandragupta II, especially first three, not first three, but three major rulers of Gupta dynasty, their capital was also Patliputra. तो जो Patliputra का glory है, Patliputra का glory that again regained during Gupta ruler. But after that, the decline of Patliputra, especially with the decline of Gupta ruler, the glory of Patliputra also declined. And after that, as such, there is no revival. Right? So, जो पूरा Magad center of power of India, which existed at Patliputra, what modern Patna is, that declined with Gupta rulers. Anyways, we are going to talk about that in next classes. So next topic I am going to discuss will be, that is 4 set of invasions by 4 different group of people. Last Kanva ruler, his name was Susharman. If you are interested in it, again I do not think you need to know it, but अगर आपको लिखना है तो आप लिख सकते हो. His name was Susharman. So 4 group of people who are called Indo-Greeks, Indo-Scythians, or simply Sakas, Parthians, and Kushanas. These 4 set of invasion occurred, and ये जो 4 set of invasion है, that actually covers a period of about 400 years also. So जो Greek invasion है, first Greek invasion occurred during time of Alexander itself. So we are now entering into common era, 1st century AD. जो Greek invasion है, that started in 2nd century. Again the second phase of invasion. First phase of invasion was done by Alexander. Now I am talking about the second phase of Greeks invasion. Greeks had settled themselves in the region of Bactria. Later they shifted their kingdom to Gandhar region, and from Gandhar region they started attacking towards northern part. Especially Magad was a very important empire. So जो Greek invasion है, Indo-Greek rulers हम जिनको बोलते हैं, these are the first set of invasion. Around it started occur around 2nd century BC, continued for next 100 years. Ab who are Shakas? This is a very important question. Sakas are a group of nomadic tribes who may have originated in the region of Central Asia steppe. Especially जो original group of Shakas हैं, many historians believe that it may have emerged in the region of what we Ukraine is, जो modern पूरा Ukraine region है. But later they dispersed around entire Central Asian steppe such as Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, ये जो Astan countries हैं, as well as Persia, what Iran is. So a group of nomadic tribe with great horse riders, great power, they started attacking from, again India is vulnerable from one location, that is northwest frontier, from the जो पूरा नॉर्थ वेस्ट फ्रंटियर रीजन है, सिंध पंजाब रीजन है, फ्रॉम देयर इन्वेजन स्टार्टेड. सो दे फॉट विथ इंडो ग्रीक रूलर्स, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट इंडो ग्रीक रूलर्स का जो पावर है दैट डिक्लाइंड, एंड फॉर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम शाकास बिकेम वेरी पावरफुल and they remained powerful for some time. Now two branches of Saka rulers emerged. One branch which ruled the region of Punjab and Sindh region. Punjab, I am including Punjab of both India and Pakistan here. So Punjab region, Sindh region जो पूरा है, that region was ruled by Shakas. Greeks power that had declined. That did not, in fact, उसके बाद ऐसा कोई revival भी नहीं है. But the second group of Shakas, they are more important. They ruled the region of Rajasthan and Gujarat, जो अभी modern राजस्थान और गुजरात है, and they are called Chhatraps या Satrapi, and because they ruled western part of the India, they are called Western Chhatraps. So two groups, one group which ruled the region of Sindh, Punjab region, that declined because of attacks from Parthians and Kushans. But जो राजस्थान और गुजरात में जो शाकात settled थे, they ruled for many years, for centuries in fact. तो जो वेस्टर्न क्षत्रप का जो रूल है that continued till even during Gupta period. When Guptas emerged powerful in North India, Shakas were ruling Gujarat, and only by third great ruler of Gupta Empire, his name was Chandragupta II, who took the title of Vikramaditya after defeating Shaka rulers. That is also a very interesting thing. Vikramaditya became a very coveted title in ancient India because one of the Saka rulers, one of the Indian ruler, it's very debatable that who exactly it is. Who exactly is the first ruler who defeated one of the Saka ruler who had occupied the region of Ujjain. जो उज्जैन अभी जो उज्जैनी जो place है पूरा. So Ujjain was occupied by Shakas, and one of the Indian rulers defeated Shaka ruler and recaptured Ujjain. And after that he took the title of Vikramaditya. And after that many rulers across ancient as well as in medieval India took this title of Vikramaditya. The most important is Chandragupta II from Gupta dynasty. That by defeating again Shaka ruler in Gujarat, he takes the title of Vikramaditya. Anyways, so Indo-Scythians, a nomadic tribe which settled in the northwest region of India, and one branch of that ruled the region of Gujarat, Rajasthan, that ruled for next few hundred years. But the other group that was defeated first by Parthians, later by Kushanas. Parthians are also another group of tribe which emerged in the region of Persia, वहाँ से नाम भी आता है. तो जो अभी ईरान रीजन है, ये ईरान रीजन में ट्राइब्स इमर्ज हुए थे. But they were not able to do much because very soon they were defeated by the last set of invaders who are called Kushanas. अब ये स्पेशली जो पार्थियंस एंड कुशानास का इन्वेजन, इवन शाकास का जो इन्वेजन है, दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज ऑल ऑफ दिस अकर्ड because of a very major development in China, not in India, not in Central Asia, but in China. Chinese emperor जो है, he was fed up with, because China, Central Asia directly connected है. So lot of invasion used to occur to China. So Chinese emperor invested a lot into taking care of this invasion. The first thing is he started erecting Great Wall of China, जो आप सबने पढ़ा होगा. Great Wall of China, you cannot cross that. So first he started attacking them with all their might. So many of them started shifting towards Central Asia. And once this area is clear, Great Wall of China was erected. So China secured itself from tribal invasions. But after that, ये जो shifting of people है, जैसे Kushanas जो है, Kushanas belong to a tribe which mainly roamed around in the region of China, especially जो अभी Xinjiang region है. अभी भी Xinjiang आपने पढ़ा होगा. There is a province called Xinjiang province. So they mainly roamed around in the region of Xinjiang. Because of Chinese emperor attacks, they started shifting towards Central Asia. Because of their shifting to Central Asia, Scythians started coming towards India, and later even Kushanas started coming towards India. So the same tribe started coming towards India, and ये जो Kushanas हैं, they became very powerful in a very short span of time. So the last set of invasion is invasion by Kushana. Especially Kushana became very prosperous because in ancient world, I already may have told you, a trade route existed which connected China to Europe. ये discuss किया था हमने. What is name of this trade route? Silk route. So Silk route, the reason it is called Silk route because silk was चाइना में सिल्क प्रोड्यूस होता था, वो यूरोप में बिकता था. So 1,000 kilometer long trade route, and by the way China is right now again trying to revive that route. Belt and Road Initiative पढ़ना जाके आप इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस में अभी भी न्यूज में आता रहेगा. जो चाइना का बेल्ट एंड रोड इनिशिएटिव है वो इसी पे जो पूरा है, दे आर ट्राइंग टू रिगेन दैट ग्लोरी, राइट. सो जो सिल्क रूट जो था, इट स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम चाइना, वेंट टिल यूरोप, एंड अ मेजर पार्ट वाज द रीजन ऑफ कश्मीर एंड पंजाब. And this Kashmir and Punjab region was also connected to other part of India, a trade route called Uttar Path, right? So Uttar Path basically connected entire India from Indus River to Bengal. जो पूरा इंडिया आप क्रॉस कर लो, गंगा यमुना क्रॉस करते हुए आ जाओ बंगाल तक, you have Uttar Path. Now जो कुशानाज थे, कुशानाज ruled entire Kashmir, entire Punjab, a significant part of Central Asia, a part of China, and their rule in fact expanded a significant part of UP also, Uttar Pradesh also, what modern day Uttar Pradesh is. So Kushana Empire again was a very large empire, and it was at the heart of Silk Route. So they collected lot of custom duty. Trade था इस time पे बहुत prosperous था, and they collected lot of custom duty. And because of that, in a very short span of time, this empire became very prosperous. One of the great rulers of Kushana is Kanishk himself. We'll talk about Kanishk and his contributions in little detail. बट इनफैक्ट आपको एक और इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट जस्ट ऐसे ही बता देता हूं मैं. जो तनिष्क है, दैट कम्स फ्रॉम कनिष्क. द रीजन इज कि कुशानाज इशूड द बेस्ट प्योरेस्ट गोल्ड कॉइन्स. सो नंबर ऑफ गोल्ड कॉइन्स रीच्ड इट्स मैक्सिमम ड्यूरिंग गुप्ता पीरियड, बट जो प्योरिटी एंड क्वालिटी ऑफ गोल्ड कॉइन है, दैट वाज बेस्ट ड्यूरिंग कुशाना पीरियड. सो टी रिप्रेजेंट्स टाटा, एंड सो टाटा प्लस कनिष्क इज तनिष्क. So Kushanas, this four set of invasions, few important things, few important rulers, and last but perhaps most important one is their contributions, ki why they are remembered for. So in anyways, in course of time, even though they were invaders who came from outside, in the course of time, they gradually settled in the subcontinent region. They accepted Indian culture, they also brought their own culture. So cultural interaction may have occurred. But all of this set of rulers, be it Greeks, जैसे Menander, I talked about Menander who had attacked Magad during Pushyamitra Shunga. Menander converted to Buddhism. There is a very famous text called Milind Panho. Milind Panho records a conversation between Menander and a Buddhist sage Nagasena. And Menander has a lot of questions for Nagasena. After the end of this conversation, he is satisfied with the answers and he converts to Buddhism. Similarly, even Shakas and Parthians, they also, in a way, in the course of time, they accepted Indian culture, Indian way of living. जैसे Shakas में जो सबसे famous ruler है, he is Rudradaman, who ruled the region of Gujarat, जो अभी गुजरात region है. And Rudradaman accepted जो पूरा Aryan religion है, Hindu religion जो है. Same is true for Parthians also, and same is true for Kushanas also. जैसे जो कुशानाज रूलर है, दे बिकेम ग्रेट पेट्रन ऑफ बुद्धिज्म. जैसे कनिष्क वाज अ ग्रेट पेट्रन ऑफ बुद्धिज्म, एंड मेनी ऑफ देम आल्सो वर्शिप लॉर्ड शिवा एंड लॉर्ड कृष्ण. सो दैट डज टेल यू दैट हाउ religion, how culture evolved. Nomadic tribe who settled themselves, and in the course of time they accepted Indian civilization way of living, right? So in the course of time they became Indians in fact. So just write down, give this heading Indo-Greeks. अच्छा, by the way इनके जो sources हैं, first what are the sources to know about them? So the most important source here is coinage, numismatics. हमारे पास बहुत सारा written record नहीं है. Name of these kings actually come from coins. Greek rulers were very famous for issuing coins in their name. They were the first to issue gold coins into India, by the way, ये भी पता होना चाहिए. Not Kushanas. New NCERT में I am not sure why it is written. अगर आप New NCERT पढ़ोगे तो वहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है कि Kushanas were the first to issue gold coins, but that is not a correct statement. Kushanas were they issued gold coins in a large number and best quality of gold coins. But Indo-Greeks were the first ruler who issued gold coins in India. And Indo-Greeks had this interesting practice that they used to have their picture and name of king on one side of the coin. This was adopted by later Shaka rulers, by Parthians, by Kushanas, and also by many Indian kings. जैसे Guptas जो हैं, they accepted, and even Satavahanas also in fact started doing that. So ये जो है the most important source to know about their name, that is coinage. Numismatics actually plays a very important role to know about the history of Greeks and Shakas and Kushanas. There are certain texts which mention, which actually, especially during Kushana rule, there are certain texts. So Kushanas ke time mein you have few written records, but about Indo-Greeks and Shakas and Parthians, jo coinage hai, that is the most important source. There is a question by Jagriti that some book mentioned King Kharavela as ruler of Mahameghvana dynasty. So is Chedi dynasty same as Mahameghvana? That's a very important question because जो हाथी गुम्फा inscription है, the inscription which I talked about जहाँ से हमको खारावेला का information पता चलता है, हाथी गुम्फा inscription is very large, but most of that जो है because of natural processes it has been eroded. So out of many lines only few lines have been reconstructed. बाकी जो है legible नहीं है, वो आप पढ़ नहीं सकते. एंड इवन जो मेंशन्ड है वहां पे बहुत सारे वो हैं वर्ड्स हैं जिसका अलग अलग इंटरप्रिटेशन है. सो आई डू नॉट नो एग्जैक्टली अबाउट दिस टर्म विच यू आर यूजिंग महामेघवना, बट ये जो चेदी डायनेस्टी है, इज इट चेदी डायनेस्टी और एट वन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम देयर इज अनदर नेम ऑल्सो, बट मोस्ट एक्सेप्टेड इज दैट चेदी डायनेस्टी जो है, द डायनेस्टी वाज कॉल्ड चेदी डायनेस्टी. सो आई डू नॉट नो अबाउट दिस टर्म विच यू आर यूजिंग, but for me it is Chedi dynasty because this is in all most of the textbook, this is what you are going to find. Right on here you have this heading Indo-Greek kingdom. Indo-Greek kingdom. So Indo-Greek kingdom, they may have ruled from about 2nd century BC to 1st century AD. So I'm not going to pinpoint any specific year because वो करना बहुत मुश्किल है, nearly impossible है. So they may have ruled from about 2nd century BC to 1st century AD. But even within 2nd century BC and 1st century BC, for about 100-150 years, they ruled a larger territory. After that, they ruled a very small territory. Write down. The kingdom was started by Demetrius around the Bactria region, Bactria region अभी अफगानिस्तान में आएगा, around Bactria region. I do not know answer to that question. बैक्टीरिया रीजन जो बैक्टीरिया नाम कहां से आता है? ग्रीक्स हैड दिस हैबिट टू नेम प्लेसेस एज पर ग्रीक ट्रेडिशन. तो जो बैक्टीरिया नेम इज क्लियरली अ ग्रीक नेम, इट्स नॉट अ जो पूरा एक जो उस टाइम पे जो पर्शियन, इट्स नॉट पर्शियन लैंग्वेज, इट्स नॉट अदर लैंग्वेज, इट्स नेम्ड आफ्टर, ये ग्रीक नेम है. बट एग्जैक्ट इसका मीनिंग क्या है? आई डू नॉट नो आंसर टू दैट क्वेश्चन. राइट डाउन. Bactrian kings fought with each other. Bactrian kings fought with each other, and one of the ruler, Apollodotus, set up a new kingdom in the region of Punjab and Gandhar. he can be called first Indo-Greek king. He can be called first Indo-Greek king. So in general, there are few things which you should know about Greeks. First, to issue gold coins. And a very major contribution of Greeks is a school of art called Gandhara school of art. So in ancient India, you are going to find three schools of art which emerged in sculpture. जो मूर्ति बनती है, जो sculpture बनता है. So three school of art emerged. One is called Mathura school, second is called Gandhara school, and third is called Amaravati school. जो मथुरा एंड गंधारा है, स्पेशली मथुरा इज अ इंडिजिनस स्कूल. इंडिजिनस इन द सेंस इट डज नॉट हैव एनी इन्फ्लुएंस फ्रॉम आउटसाइड. जो मथुरा है इट इमर्ज्ड इनटू इंडिया, एंड जो भी फीचर्स ऑफ मथुरा स्कूल ऑफ स्कल्पचर है दे आर इंडियन. जो गंधारा स्कूल ऑफ आर्ट है दैट हैज लॉट ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस फ्रॉम ग्रीक्स एंड रोमन्स, जो पूरा ग्रेको रोमन स्टाइल जिसको हम बोलते हैं. सो गंधारा स्कूल ऑफ आर्ट हैज मेनी इंडियन फीचर्स बट देर आर मेनी ग्रेको रोमन फीचर्स ऑल्सो. So it was started by Greeks, but it reached its zenith during ruler Kanishk, who was a Kushana ruler. And जो Amaravati school of art है, that was patronized by Satvahana rulers. जो Satvahana which we are going to talk about. So through three very important school of sculpture, Mathura, Gandhara, Amaravati, they are in fact contemporary to each other. Mathura completely indigenous, Gandhara influence from Greco-Roman style, and जो पूरा अमरावती जो है दैट वाज पैट्रोनाइज्ड बाय सतवाहना रूलर्स. राइट डाउन. गिव द हेडिंग मिनांडर. Menander. So Menander may have ruled from about 165 BC to either 140 or 130 BC. And in fact, even then it is not very, it's very difficult to be more accurate कि exact year क्या है यहाँ पे. Ancient India में जहाँ पे sources की कमी है वहाँ पे exact year pinpoint करना बहुत मुश्किल है. So there, I am very sure that you are going to find sources जहाँ पे कुछ अलग दे रखा होगा, थोड़ा बहुत change होगा, या year दे ही नहीं रखा होगा, simply लिख रखा होगा 2nd century BC, and that is totally fine. Write down. Menander was king of Bactria. King of Bactria. However, his empire extended to entire region of Punjab. He tried to capture Patliputra. But was thwarted by Shunga rulers. Thwarted by Shunga rulers. Write down. In a Buddhist text, Milind Panhu, मिलिंद पान्हा भी बहुत बार बोलते हैं इसको, that is totally fine again. In a Buddhist text, Milind Panhu. So in that text, Menander is known as Milind. So Menander and Milind are same here. In a Buddhist text, Milind Panhu, Menander enters into a conversation. Write down Menander. अब ब्रैकेट में लिख लेना मिलिंद. Menander enters into a conversation with a Buddhist sage Nagasena. and at the end of conversation, he converted to Buddhism. He converted to Buddhism and became a patron of faith. Became a patron of faith. So one ruler which you have to remember. Another ruler who you have to remember is a ruler called Ential Siad. There is only one reason why you need to remember this name, Ential Siad. There is a very famous pillar inscription which is found in Besnagar. As part of this pillar inscription, it is mentioned that Ential Siad, who is a Greek ruler, he sent his ambassador to one of the Shung ruler, and this ambassador basically erects this pillar and worships Lord Krishna. So a Garud Dhwaj जिसको हम बोलते हैं, बहुत popular is Garud, because Garud is vehicle of Lord Vishnu. So Garud Dhwaj was erected, and this information about, so basically tells you that even Greek rulers patronized Hindu faiths, जो लॉर्ड कृष्णा का जो वर्शिप है. सो आप लिख सकते हो, he sent his ambassador Heliodorus, to the court of King Bhagbhadra, आप लिख सकते हो शुंग किंग या शुंग डायनेस्टी. किंग भागभद्र. Heliodorus erected a pillar called Garud Dhwaj, in the honor of Lord Krishna. This is called Besnagar pillar inscription. Besnagar pillar inscription. This is in Vidisha. तो एंशियंट विदिशा है, अभी मध्य प्रदेश में होगा. And in fact, in the same inscription, जो Heliodorus है, he calls himself a Bhagwat. A Bhagwat is a person who follows Bhagwatism. So he is a follower of Lord Vishnu. So that does tell you the influence of other religious ideas, not only just Buddhism, but many Hindu ideas that was known, and not only known, but it was actually patronized by Greek rulers. Give the next heading, Shakas. Sorry. Just write down few things. Indo-Greek rulers were the first to issue gold coins in India. Indo-Greek rulers were the first to issue gold coins in India. Indo-Greek rulers We're the first to issue gold coins in India. Nagarjuna and Nagsena are not the same person. If you're talking about Nagarjuna as a Buddhist sage, he's not the same person as Nagasena. There is a question by Kritarth Upadhyay. And एक लाइन और लिख लेना. Gandhara School of Sculpture. Gandhara School of Sculpture. Gandhara School of Sculpture, which specially flourished during Kushana rulers, which specially flourished during Kushana rulers, during Kushana rulers, was greatly influenced by Greco-Roman style. Was greatly influenced by Greco-Roman style. Greek coins, write down. Greek coins often included Greek legends, but also Hindu deities, So Greek legends is Zeus, Apollo, these are like Greek gods, but at the same time you also have Hindu deities. And in fact, there is an attempt here to find commonality between these gods. Right? So both bar gods have been compared. And even today, in fact, you are going to find some great documentaries जहाँ पे आपको you will see that ये जो different pantheon of gods हैं, which emerged into different reasons, they have lot of similarities. जैसे थोर देखो, थोर आपने सबने मार्वल के कारण तो थोर पता होगा. Thor is very similar to Indra. Like Indra also has this thunderbolt as his weapon. Or Thor is also similar to Zeus. So these are like very similar gods with similar set of power, similar impact on human life. So there are many similarities in that way. Anyways, give the next heading, Shakas. Shakas. Indo-Scythians. What is our official government calendar? Government of India का official calendar क्या है? शाक संवत पता होगा सबको. तो वैसे दो कैलेंडर, एक तो ग्रेगोरियन कैलेंडर जो इंग्लिश कैलेंडर हम यूज करते हैं, बट एट द सेम टाइम यू ऑल्सो हैव शाका संवत. अब इस शाका संवत जो है एग्जैक्टली व्हेन इट स्टार्ट्स, सो व्हेन इट स्टार्ट्स वी नो, बट व्हाट इज द हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट व्हिच लेड टू स्टार्टिंग ऑफ दिस कैलेंडर, देयर इज लॉट ऑफ डिबेट सराउंडिंग इट. ओके, सो जो शाका संवत है, डज एनीवन नो व्हेन डज इट स्टार्ट? जो जैसे व्हेन डज इट स्टार्ट का मतलब है कि कोई भी कैलेंडर होगा उसका एक 0 ईयर होगा. 0 से पहले, जैसे इन केस ऑफ ग्रेगोरियन कैलेंडर इट इज बिफोर क्राइस्ट, जहां पे हम उल्टा चलेंगे. एंड आफ्टर 0 हम फिर नॉर्मल जैसे ऑर्डर होता है हम ऐसे चलेंगे. जैसे 0 इन केस ऑफ ग्रेगोरियन कैलेंडर 0 मार्क्स द बर्थ ऑफ जीसस क्राइस्ट. एंड आफ्टर दैट यू हैव दिस कॉमन एरा सी, या बहुत बार हम उसको एडी भी यूज करते हैं, एनो डोमिनी, द एज ऑफ द लॉर्ड, right? And similarly BC is before Christ or BCE is before common era, same thing. There should be no confusion that they are different things. So similarly all calendar will have a 0 year कि ये यहाँ से टाइम शुरू हो रहा है, ये 0 है, उससे पहले आप उल्टा जाओगे फिर उसके बाद सीधा जाओगे. So when does शाका संवत starts? 17 BC नहीं, AD होगा. So जो शाका संवत है that starts in 78 AD. There is another Sambat which is called Vikram Sambat, and Vikram Sambat starts in 57 BC. So Vikram Sambat का जो starting है, Vikram Sambat का starting is, I told you that story that one of the Indian ruler defeats a Shaka ruler and he captures Ujjain from him and he takes the title of Vikramaditya and he starts Vikram Sambat. Who exactly this ruler is? Which dynasty belong to? There is lot of debate. बहुत सारा debate है, ये debate अभी तक settled debate नहीं है. We frankly do not know, but we do know this story. And after that, Vikramaditya as a title became very famous. So 57 BC, अब when India got independence, a committee was set up कि हमारा एक official calendar होना चाहिए जो हमारे historical tradition के हिसाब से होना चाहिए. And two candidates, one is Vikram Sambat and another is Shaka Sambat. So Vikram Sambat was not adopted, Shaka Sambat was adopted. अब Shaka Sambat starts in 78 AD. मतलब ये है कि 78 AD is 0 in Shaka Sambat. And in case of Vikram Sambat, 57 BC is 0. So what it means is, आप इसको ऐसे देख लो, नंबर लाइन का कॉन्सेप्ट सबने पढ़ा होगा, राइट? सो नंबर लाइन में एक 0 होता है एंड 0 से हम पीछे जाएंगे तो नेगेटिव नंबर्स होंगे एंड आगे हम जाएंगे तो पॉजिटिव नंबर्स होंगे, राइट? तो एक नंबर लाइन जो है ग्रेगोरियन कैलेंडर का जो 0 है, you have to shift this Gregorian calendar by 78 unit and जो आपका शाका संबत का जो 0 होगा that will start जहां पे Gregorian calendar का 78 AD है. So for शाका संबत 0 will start here. ठीक है? And for विक्रम संबत 0 is going to हमको shift करना पड़ेगा इसको 57 unit, ये -57 समझ लो. यहां पे विक्रम संबत का जो 0 होगा वो यहां पे शुरू होगा. तो सिमिलर, दिस इज अ लीनियर रिलेशनशिप इन द सेंस इफ आई हैव टू कन्वर्ट एनी ईयर इन ग्रेगोरियन कैलेंडर एज लेट्स से शाका संबत, क्या करना पड़ेगा? 78 घटाना पड़ेगा या जोड़ना पड़ेगा? घटाना पड़ेगा, राइट? वी हैव टू सब्ट्रैक्ट 78 टू गेट, सो फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स से 2000 AD as part of Gregorian calendar. In Shaka Sambat you have to, right, you have to reduce 78 and in case of Vikram Sambat you have to add. So 0 yahan pe starts at 57 minus 57. So you have to add in case of Vikram Sambat. The reason I am talking about these two calendars that both of them are related to these four set of invasion which I am talking about. So the Shaka Sambat hai that starts with one of the ruler who defeat a Shaka ruler from Ujjain and takes the title Vikramaditya. Sorry, that is Vikram Sambat. Vikram Sambat starts with this one of the ruler defeating one of the Shaka ruler and taking the title of Vikramaditya. So that in itself is a debate, who is that ruler. But even more debate is regarding Shaka Sambat. तो शाका संबत जो हमारा ऑफिशियल कैलेंडर है विच स्टार्ट्स एट 78 AD, तो कोई भी कैलेंडर, जैसे बहुत बार जो रूलर्स हैं व्हेन दे इमर्ज्ड विक्टोरियस दे ऑफन स्टार्टेड अ न्यू कैलेंडर, और व्हेन दे बिकेम किंग फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम दे स्टार्टेड अ न्यू कैलेंडर कि यहां से टाइम जो है 0 से शुरू होगा. मेनी रूलर्स डिड दैट. अब ये जो 78 AD स्टार्टिंग है, व्हाट इज द इंपॉर्टेंट, व्हाट इज द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ दैट? देयर इज लॉट ऑफ डिबेट सराउंडिंग इट. The first and the most common is, if you are going to read R.S. Sharma or if you are going to read even Upinder Singh, which is by the way a modern textbook. Upinder Singh जो है वो नई लिखी हुई किताब है, तो उसमें सारा updated information है. But even in Upinder Singh it is mentioned that 78 AD marks the ascension of Kanishk. Kanishk who is a Kushana ruler by the way. अब यहाँ पे दो डिबेट है. एक, many historians believe that it actually does not mark the ascension of Kanishk. First reason is that Kanishk is a Kushana king, he is not a Shaka king. But at the same time many people feel that ये जो division between Shaka and Kushana है, in the course of time that may have eroded. Calendar started and after that this calendar was, everybody is known as Shaka itself. So ये जो Shaka Kushana का जो debate है, because they came from outside, this division may have not existed after some point of time. But many historians believe that it does not actually mark the ascension of Kanishk. It marks the ascension of one of the Shaka ruler called Chastana, who is actually a Shaka ruler. And Kanishk का बहुत बार जो historians से मानते हैं that he became king in about 127 AD, not 78 AD. So it shouldn't mark his ascension. So if there is a question in prelims examination, if Kanishk is mentioned, that जो ये Shaka संबत है, it marks the ascension of Kanishk, then mark that as a correct statement if Kanishk is mentioned, right? At the same time, I am just making you aware that this is debatable. Many historians feel that it actually does not mark the ascension of Kanishk. So two calendars, very popular. Even today we use Vikram Sambat. Government of India use Shaka Sambat. Two calendars. Both these calendars go back to, in fact, ये जो 4 sets of invasions हम discuss कर रहे हैं. So anyway, just write down few things about Shaka rulers. Shakas were nomadic tribe. Shakas were nomadic tribe. Nomadic tribe who roamed around in the region of Central Asia. Who roamed around in the region of Central Asia. Central Asia. Write down. About 2nd century BC. About 2nd century BC. Tribes from China. Tribes from China started invading Central Asian region. Started invading Central Asian region. Central Asian region. And because of that, Shakas migrated towards northwest India. Shakas migrated towards northwest India. Shakas migrated towards northwest India. Just to give you a rough idea what is happening in different part of the country. This map represents a map of about 500 years from 200 BC to 300 AD, which are the important political powers in different part of the country. So Shung Empire, we already have talked about Shung Empire. Then you have Satavahana Empire in Deccan region. You have Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas here. In south you have Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, right? There are many small kingdoms like Abhirs are here, Yodheyas are here, but yahan pe you have Indo-Greeks and group of people who right now in the region of Persia called Parthian people, but they are also going to migrate towards India. So you have Indo-Greeks, you will also have Shakas, in fact Kushanas you also have here, Kushanas. So another map, the next map in fact will be even more clear. This region, this map basically, again this is a very hodgepodge map, but this actually gives you a rough idea about Indo-Greek kingdom and contemporary kingdoms into other part of the country. So you have Shung Empire, you have Satavahana Empire, Chola, Cheras, Pandyas in the south. But later, Indo-Greeks are substituted by what we call Shakas or Indo-Scythians. And ये जो दो color है, two different shades of color, it actually represents two different branches of Shaka rulers. One branch which ruled this part of the subcontinent, northwest part, and another branch which ruled the region of Gujarat and Rajasthan, which are western Kshatrabs. This part, in fact, in a very short span of time, they were first defeated by Parthians and later by Kushanas. But ये जो Gujarat वाला part है, this continued for many years. In fact, let me show you another map of Gupta Empire, which I am going to discuss in detail. Now this is map of Gupta Empire. अब ये जो part है, this part here, this part here is the part which was ruled by Samudragupta directly, and Samudragupta also led his expedition in southern part of the country and emerged victorious. But ये जो part है, this was not ruled by Samudragupta, and this was ruled by, if you can see here, by Shakas. So Shakas had a great continuity in the region of Gujarat and Rajasthan. Only by Gupta rulers they were defeated. But in this part, they were defeated first by Parthians, their kingdom contracted, and later by Kushanas. Kushanas completely replaced Shaka rulers. So that is what is this map. This is very, very slow. Write down few things here. Shakas had a large Indian kingdom. Shakas had a larger Indian kingdom than Indo-Greeks. Shakas had a larger Indian kingdom than Indo-Greeks. Give the heading some important rulers. Some important rulers. The first important ruler is a ruler called Moues. Moues. ये एग्जैक्ट टाइम पीरियड बहुत मुश्किल है. इट विल बी 98 to 57 BC, but it can also be, in some other sources you are going to find 50 BC to some other time period. So this is in fact, write down, he is also known as Moga. He is also known as Moga. And is considered one of the earliest Indo-Scythian king. One of the earliest Indo-Scythian king. One of the earliest Indo-Scythian kings. His capital was Sirkap. His capital was Sirkap. Right now Sirkap will be in the region of Punjab. His capital was Sirkap, जो पंजाब पाकिस्तान का पार्ट है. So that should in fact be mentioned here. Write down the coins issued by him. The coins issued by him contain both Hindu and Buddhist symbols. Hindu and Buddhist symbols. Write down his son Azes. His son Azes I. His son Azes defeated Greek kings and acquired their territory. Acquired their territory. Write down the next paragraph. One group of Shakas. One group of Shakas occupied the region of Rajasthan and Gujarat occupied the region of Rajasthan and Gujarat. They initially were subordinate rulers. They initially were subordinate rulers, but in the course of time declared their independence. In the course of time declared their independence. They came to be known as Western Satrapi or Chhatrap. They came to be known as Western Satrapi or Chhatrap. Write down one of the early rulers from Western Chhatrap. One of the early rulers from Western Chhatrap. One of the early rulers from Western Chhatrap was Chastana. Chastana, who ruled from Ujjain. अब देखो यहाँ पे इनफैक्ट आप लिख सकते हो नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडियाज ऑफिशियल कैलेंडर. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडियाज ऑफिशियल कैलेंडर. It's Shaka Sambat. ब्रैकेट में लिख लेना अपार्ट फ्रॉम ग्रेगोरियन कैलेंडर. अपार्ट फ्रॉम ग्रेगोरियन कैलेंडर. Apart from Gregorian calendar. Shaka Sambat starts in 78 AD. Shaka Sambat starts in 78 AD. Starts in 78 AD. 78 AD. This may mark one of the following. This may mark one of the following. One of the following. Ascension of Kushan King Kanishk In fact, जो आप history textbooks, two sources, R.S. Sharma as well as Upinder Singh, both of them mention the same thing, that it marks the ascension of Kushan King Kanishk. But I am telling you that this is debatable. Many historians do not accept it. Write down. First, ascension of Kushan King Kanishk. Ascension of साका रूलर चस्ताना. अभी जो हम चस्ताना की बात कर रहे हैं, Chastana. And in fact there is a third theory also, that one of the Satvahana ruler defeated Chastana. His name was Salivahan, and he may have started Shaka Sambat. by emerging victorious against Shaka, he may have started Shaka Samvat. आप लिख सकते हो King Salivahan of Satvahana dynasty after defeating Shaka ruler Chastana. After defeating Shaka ruler Chastana. I will repeat, I am just telling you, these are the strands of debate. If Kanishk is mentioned, mark that correct statement. That जो Shaka Samvat है, it marks the ascension of Kanishk on his throne. तो अगर ये दे रखा है, तो इसको correct मान के चलो. Let's take a break here. After that, we'll talk about Rudradaman, one of the rulers which you need to know, and Parthians and Kushans. Can you close that door? Can you close that door? Since we are writing about calendars, just write down one more information. Write down Vikram Samvat. Vikram Samvat which starts in 57 BC, marks the victory of an Indian ruler against the Shaka ruler After this victory, king adopted the title of Vikramaditya. Which became a coveted title after that. King adopted the title of Vikramaditya, which became a coveted title after that. Coveted means that any time a king emerges victorious against a great power, a great enemy, they adopted the title of Vikramaditya. If you have understood the calendar concept, a very simple question आप आंसर करके बताओ. If you have, let's say, year 2022 in, let's say, Shaka Samvat. Now convert this into Vikram Samvat. Year 2022 19 क्या करा आपने? मैंने ग्रेगोरियन में थोड़े कन्वर्ट करने को बोला है. I asked you to convert it into Shaka Samvat. Do this if you understood. हाँ, इसको विक्रम में करना है. ये शाका संवत का ईयर 2022 है, इसको आपको विक्रम संवत में कन्वर्ट करना है. आंसर बताइए. डोंट लुक एट मी, प्लीज डू दिस. यस, सॉरी गाइस, कैन यू बी प्लीज क्वाइट. यस, ये आपस में बातचीत क्यों कर रहे हो आप इतना? प्लीज बी क्वाइट. You have to be louder than that. That is? Yeah, that is actually correct. So there is no zero. That is correct actually. It starts from 1. That is correct. 21. What did you do exactly? Just tell me the method what you have to do. 78 minus 57. So a very simple, if there is any confusion, you can do a very simple thing. We did see that Shaka Sambat jo hai, that starts in 78 AD. So if I have to convert this into Vikram Sambat, what do I need to do? I need to first reduce 78 and then अगर आपको उसको विक्रम संवत में convert करना हो, then you have to add 57. So minus 78 plus 57 जो भी होगा वो आपका आंसर होगा, ठीक है? So that will be 21 minus 21. So 2001 I guess. Answer is 2001. So 2001, year 2001 will be the answer in Vikram Sambat. UPSC ने the reason I have given you this question that ये although maths का question है, but UPSC ने एक बार GS1 में भी पूछा हुआ था. They did ask this question that a year was given 2000 and you have to, and again they use the same thing, Saka Sambat into Vikram and Vikram into Saka, whatever, I do not remember exactly. So all you need to know कि यहाँ पे जो calendar है वो start कहाँ से होता है, you have to use that. Anyways, we are talking about some important rulers of Shakas. One very important ruler which you need to remember, perhaps the most important ruler of Shakas, is Rudradaman I. Rudradaman may have ruled from about 130 to 150 AD. Rudradaman. So before I talk about Rudradaman, let me show you on map. So I told you that this part जो है, this part was occupied by Parthians and Kushans. But this part here they remained. And in the Deccan region you have Satvahana rulers. So while the region of Gujarat and Rajasthan that was occupied by Shakas, this part was ruled by Satvahana rulers. जो डेक्कन हम जिसको बोलेंगे. And because of that, even though their conflict with ये यहाँ पे तो Parthians Kushans है, this conflict ended, but the conflict with Satvahanas that continued for many years. So the Western Kshatrapes हैं, they fought many wars with Satvahana rulers. There are two rulers, one ruler from Shakas whose name is Rudradaman, which we are talking about. He in fact was able to emerge victorious against Satvahana rulers. And among Satvahana you have a ruler named Gautamiputra Shatkarni, which I am going to talk about. Gautamiputra Shatkarni, because of his fight with Shakas, their power actually declined. So they fought many wars because they shared a large border, and to occupy especially the border territories hain, they fought many wars with each other. Details of those wars we do not know, but we do know from various inscriptions that these kings often fought with each other. So Rudradaman के बारे में जो information है, that information comes from a very famous inscription called Girnar inscription. It is found in Gujarat. And this inscription, apart from his victorious campaign against Satvahana, it also mentions that there is a very famous lake called Sudarshan Lake. And this Sudarshan Lake, in this inscription we find out that it was actually made by one of the commanders of Chandragupta Maurya. और ये जो चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य का in fact जो political boundary है, that it included Gujarat, it comes from this inscription. We did not have other information to know about कि चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य का जो western boundary है वो कहाँ पे है. So this inscription, by the way, not is a Mauryan inscription. It is an inscription. It is a Shaka inscription, which talks about this lake. But as it turned out, because of some problem, this lake was not working properly. There was like irreparable damage, and nobody thought that this lake is ever going to work. And Rudradaman took that as a personal challenge, and he oversaw the construction work on Sudarshan, and again it was restored. So the significance of this lake, why I am talking about this lake, because a part of Girnar inscription जो है, a significant part of that actually describes this event, that how everybody thought that kuch nahi ho sakta is lake ka, and then Rudradaman, day in and day out with all his people, he did manual work all by himself, and finally the lake was restored. So a very famous inscription, not just about Rudradaman but also about the Mauryan territories. It also tells you that Chandragupta Maurya, despite hundreds of years have passed, Chandragupta Maurya is very famous. So Rudradaman ruled for about 130 AD. Chandragupta Maurya ruled in 321 BC. So there is a gap of 400 years. So even with 400 years, Chandragupta Maurya is very famous, right? तो ये सारा इंफॉर्मेशन जो हमको मिलता है, तो आप लिख सकते हो, राइट डाउन फ्यू थिंग्स हियर. He is considered as the greatest Shaka ruler. He is considered as the greatest Shaka ruler. Greatest Shaka ruler. His kingdom included entire Rajasthan, Gujarat, as well as part of Deccan. He conducted the repair work of Sudarshan Lake. He conducted the repair work of Sudarshan Lake at Kathiawar region. He conducted the repair work at Sudarshan Lake at Kathiawar region in Gujarat, which was built by Pushyagupta, governor of Chandragupta Maurya. Rudradaman took the title of Mahakshatrap. Rudradaman took the title of Mahakshatrap after defeating Satvahana kings. He also patronized Sanskrit literature. Write down next paragraph. Shaka Empire declined because of attacks by Parthians and Kushans. While Western Kshatraps ruled for many years. Their power also declined because of attacks by Satvahana. The last Western Kshatrap, Rudra Simha Rudrasimha III was defeated by Chandragupta II of Gupta dynasty. Of Gupta dynasty. We will talk about Guptas in detail, a very important topic. Give the next heading Parthians. Parthians. That is actually a valid point. ये जो मैंने क्वेश्चन दिया था अभी, my question was year 2022 in Shaka Sambat or Vikram? Shaka Sambat. Okay. So if I have to convert Gregorian calendar to Shaka Sambat, I need to reduce 78. But to do the opposite, I actually need to add 78. Right? तो यहाँ पे that is actually, so Lakshmi actually has a very valid point that in this case आपको 78, there is a gap of 78 plus 57 years between Shaka and Vikram Sambat. So I actually need to add 78 as well as 57. So that was a mistake. So it will be 135, and then you need to no, so basically 2022 यहाँ पे है. We are 2022 here. If I have to convert this into Vikram Sambat, into Gregorian calendar, तो Gregorian को अगर convert करना हो तो 78 हम reduce करेंगे, right? यहाँ पे हम 78 add करेंगे and again 57 भी add करेंगे. तो फिर ये थोड़ा सा ये गड़बड़ हो गया था ये. So इसको ध्यान रखने की जरूरत है, right? So that will be 2157. Yeah, ठीक है. So it will be 2157. Give the next heading Parthians. The Parthians are also a group of nomadic tribes, but they originated in the region of Persia. Hence the name Parthians. It actually comes from Parthia, in fact, is one of the region in Iran, and from this region these tribes emerged. So even with Shakas, even Parthians came to India. Parthians में ज़्यादा कुछ जानने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. One of the ruler you need to remember is Gondopharenes. Gondopharenes ruled around, in fact, just ये जो पूरा Christian era जहाँ से शुरू होता है. And Gondopharenes जो है, his ascension actually marks coming of Christianity even to India. जैसे there is a very famous story that Saint Thomas came to India during his reign. So apart from that, you do not need to anything. Write down. Parthians originated in the region of Persia. Parthians originated in the region of Persia. In the region of Persia, and around 1st century AD, around 1st century AD, they overthrew Shakas from northwest. They overthrew Shakas from northwest frontier of India. From northwest frontier of India. The most famous king, the most famous Parthian king The most famous Parthian king was Gondopharenes. Gondopharenes. In his reign, Saint Thomas is said to have visited India, to propagate Christianity. And the last invasion is Kushan. So give this heading Kushan Empire. So I will again repeat the story. A tribe which originated into China. This tribe is called UAG tribe. UAG tribe, because of Great Wall of China and because of steps taken by Chinese emperor, they had to shift in the Central Asian region. That led to migration of Shakas and Parthians towards India. But later even Kushanas started settling in the Indian region. So they defeated whatever was left of Shakas and Parthians. So both Shakas and Parthians, they were defeated by Kushanas. Now UAG tribe in itself was divided into many branches. बहुत ज़्यादा डिटेल में मैं जस्ट स्टोरी के लिए बता रहा हूँ, आपको इतना डिटेल में याद रखने की जानने की जरूरत नहीं है. UAG tribe in itself was divided at least into 5 branches, and these 5 branches ruled different part of the world. One of that branch also ruled part of Indian territory. The part which ruled Indian territory, that became very powerful and very prosperous, and because of that they were able to consolidate their rule in all other branches. So जो Kushanas है, so this branch of UAG tribe, and a very important ruler here, 2 rulers here are, one is Kujula Cadphises and Vimal Cadphises. The name is, I know it's quite difficult to remember, but जो Cadphises kings हैं, they played a very important role in consolidation of UAG tribe, and what was divided again was unified by them, and now they ruled a significant part of subcontinent region. That included, so for example, that included Kashmir, that included entire region of Punjab, entire region of Sindh, part of Central Asia, as well as part of China. And later during time of Kanishk, it also included a significant part of North India. The empire became very prosperous because of Silk Route. And why do we know that? That as Silk Route trade declined, one of the reasons why Silk Route trade declined is that Europeans had learnt the art of making silk from Chinese. तो जो पूरा export of silk from China to Europe जो था, that declined, and because of that trade also declined, and gradually Kushana empire also declined. So जो Kushana का जो पूरा emergence है and उनका जो zenith है, that is very much coincides with the prosperity of trade on Silk Route. So they were middlemen, and because of that they collected lot of custom duty, and the kingdom became very prosperous. So जो Gupta dynasty है, which ruled India, many historians believe that Gupta may have been initially feudatories of Kushanas, and with the decline of Kushanas they later declared their independence and set up their own independent kingdom with Patliputra as the capital, and from there they expanded to almost entire India. So Kushanas, there is a continuity here now. From Kushanas now you are shifting towards Guptas, but we will talk about Guptas in next class, not in today's class. So, but there is a continuity here. So Kushanas ruled for many years. The empire became very prosperous. That is one set of development. Another set of development is in religious development, and especially in Buddhism. Now, when Buddhism started, when Buddha started, Buddha never thought that it is going to be a religion per se. Buddhism was also very, in fact, it was a philosophy, right? But in the course of time, many kings patronized Buddhist monasteries, Buddhist monks, and corruption also started occurring in this monastery. So a set of reforms which occurred within Buddhism itself is that 2 groups of Buddhist school of thought that divided. One group which emerged, it is called Mahayana form of Buddhism. अब जो Mahayana form of Buddhism है, that is frankly very different from when Buddhism actually started, but this became the most popular school of thought. So Mahayana form Buddhism में जैसे एक जो सबसे पहली चीज होगी कि Buddha was now given almost the status of a god, not God as a creator. ये भी मैंने बताया था ना कि एक होता है स्मॉल जीओडी गॉड, एक होता है कैपिटल जीओडी गॉड. जो कैपिटल जीओडी गॉड है, दैट गॉड इज क्रिएटर, केयर टेकर, डिस्ट्रॉयर. जैसे इन हिंदुइज्म इट विल बी ट्रिनिटी गॉड्स, जो ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश हैं, दीज आर कैपिटल जीओडी गॉड्स, राइट. देन जो स्मॉलर गॉड्स हैं लाइक इंद्र, अग्नि, दे विल बी स्मॉल जीओडी गॉड्स. सो बुद्धा वाज गिवन द स्टेटस ऑफ अ गॉड, एंड ये जो पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ पुनर्जन्म एंड ऑल दैट थिंग, रीइंकार्नेशन, दैट वाज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ बुद्धिज्म. It became integral to Buddhism. So one of the important aspect is that Buddha had many previous births and he is going to take birth again. Those previous births and future births, they are called bodhisattvas now. So जो bodhisattvas है, their goal here is that they are going to delay their own nirvana. एक concept Buddhism है क्या nirvana का, जब आप पूरा अपना, जब इच्छाओं को आप खत्म कर दोगे, when you extinguish your desires, you attain nirvana. That is the central concept of Buddha. जो पूरा कारण है दुख का, the entire reason of sorrow is our desires. The moment we extinguish our desires, you attain nirvana. So in case of bodhisattva, bodhisattvas are going to delay their nirvana just to take care of people, that people around us and their followers, they also learn about Buddhist way of living life. So the concept of bodhisattva hai, that became very integral. So we have to here actually assume that lot of elements of Hinduism also is now very integral part of Buddhism. Reincarnation जो पूरा concept है, that again, and Mahayana form of Buddhism actually became very popular, and Kanishk in fact became one of the great patron of Buddhism in Mahayana form of Buddhism. There are some religious developments in Hinduism also, but I am going to talk about them in detail जब हम Gupta period पढ़ेंगे. That a set of development which occurred in this 200-300 years period. Many new gods and many new, even within religion itself, many new religious sects emerged in this period. We'll talk about that. And because of the prosperity, जो पूरा Kanishk Kushan empire, it also became a great patron. The empire became a great patron of art and architecture as well as learning. जैसे there are some great names from Ayurveda who belong to Kushana empire. Some great literature, Buddhist literature as well as Hindu literature, that was compiled during Kushana empire. So Kushana empire contributed a lot to kingdom, but the empire declined with the decline of trade on Silk Route. So just write down few things here. Kushanas belonged to Yueji tribe. Who lived in the Chinese frontier, of Central Asia. In fact, and Central Asia लिख लो. Who lived in the Chinese frontier and Central Asia. By 1st century AD, they defeated Parthians and Shakas. And set up their kingdom in northwest frontier of India. The foundation of empire was led by Kujula catfishes, in early part of 1st century AD. in early part of 1st century AD. His son Vima Cadphises, further expanded the territory. He issued large number of coins and became a devotee of Shiva, became a devotee of Lord Shiva. Became a devotee of Lord Shiva. So this point I am specially mentioning just to signify that even though they came from outside, but at this point of time, जो cultural interaction है, and because kings often had to gain legitimacy. How do you gain legitimacy? Religion plays a very important role. So by patronizing religion and religious ideas, kings are often going to gain their legitimacy. So Lord Shiva devotee, and similarly Kanishk became a great patron of Buddhism. Write down. The greatest king, in next paragraph, the greatest king of Kushana dynasty, the greatest king of Kushana dynasty was Kanishk, अब यहां पे देखो, there is a confusion. Kanishk either may have ruled from 127 to 150 AD, or he may have ruled from 78 to about 120 AD. There is, I'm going to tell you again and again, go and find different sources, you'll find different set of information. In R.A. Sharma, in Upinder Singh, in both this textbook, ये जो 78 AD to 120 AD है, that is mentioned. But जो new research, I'm talking about research in last 10-15 years. So new research in last 10-15 years, that actually tells us that Kanishk may have ruled about 127 AD, not 78 AD. So his ascension marks the beginning of Shaka era, but I already told you that it can mean other things also. And there is no way to settle this debate frankly. The जो भी information है, इस debate को settle करना बहुत मुश्किल है, but it doesn't matter. I will repeat, if Kanishk is given as part of Shaka Samvat, mark that as a correct statement. He was son of Vima Cadphises. And his kingdom included Sindh, Afghanistan, Punjab, Kashmir, parts of Magad, comma, parts of Parthia. Parthia is a region in Persia. Parts of Parthia, parts of Central Asia, and parts of China. So one of the greatest empire which existed in ancient world is Kushana Empire. Write down. His main capital was Purushpur. Which what modern day Peshawar is in Pakistan. His main capital was Purushpur. अब ब्रैकेट में लिख लेना पेशावर जो अभी पाकिस्तान में पेशावर सिटी है, that was Purushpur. His main capital was Purushpur. Mathura was his second capital. Mathura was his second capital. Write down. He became a great patron of Buddhism. He became a great patron of Buddhism. He became a great patron of Buddhism. आप ब्रैकेट में लिख सकते हो महायान बुद्धिज्म. महायान बुद्धिज्म. The fourth Buddhist council in Kashmir was organized by him. The fourth Buddhist council in Kashmir was organized by him. Was organized by him. Now if you can recall the first three Buddhist council, the first was done by Ajatashatru just after death of Buddha, second was done by Kalashok, and third was done by Ashok himself, right? So this is the fourth. We find in ancient India fourth great councils. These councils basically included Buddhist sages from across the country. They came, discussed about issues. In fact, in this council, many historians believe that is जो पूरा Mahayana and Hinayan form of Buddhism है. By the way, this is also you should know. This idea will be discussed in detail in art and culture classes. Religion का जो development है, ये art and culture में we have divided this, that it will be discussed in detail in art and culture classes. But as a historical development, जो Mahayan form of Buddhism है, so the second form of Buddhism is called Hinayan. अब जो Hinayan है, Hinayan, as you can guess, Hinayan basically Mahayan form of Buddhism, they consider themselves to be superior, the greater vehicle. Mahayan means greater vehicle, Yan means vehicle, and Hinayan is inferior vehicle. That those who are inferior, even within Buddhist teaching, certain people who followed older way of thinking which is inferior to what Mahayan scholars believed in. So the Mahayan form of Buddhism that became very popular after this point of time. Hinayan of course did not like this term, Hinayan. So later they were called Theravadin. So you are going to find this term also, Theravadin. So same Hinayan form of Buddhism, but in later text they call themselves Theravadin. So, but when it emerged, Hinayan was a very popular term. A greater vehicle versus inferior vehicle. So, Kanishk के time में जो division of Mahayan form and Hinayan form of Buddhism है, after this point of time, Mahayan became the most popular Buddhist school of thought, not only in India, but across the world. And Hinayan form of Buddhism gradually declined. Write down. Many Buddhist monks and great scholars lived in his court. Great scholars lived in his court, such as Ashwaghosh, Vasumitra, Nagarjun, Parshva, and so सबसे important name which you need to remember is Charak. Now Charak is one of the great names in Ayurveda. Charak and Shushruta जो है ये दो सबसे grand names हैं. Sushruta का time period जो है that belongs to about 600 or 500 BC. Sushruta, father of surgery. In fact, Sushruta के जो ideas हैं, his ideas about surgery, especially plastic surgery, even today we follow same methods. And this is not, अब देखो एक दो चीजें होती हैं यहाँ पे. एक होता है जिसको हम बोलते हैं pseudoscience. Pseudoscience क्या होगा? एक false faith. Pseudoscience means lot of things by the way, but the context which I am talking about, that a false faith in something. This has become a recent trend, and not it's frankly it's not a recent trend. As a child also मेरे घर में भी ये बोला जाता था कि ये जो क्या बोलते पुष्पक विमान था यहाँ तो उड़ना हमको आता था तब, right? Things like that, we knew about interplanetary travel and things like that. So this glorifying of civilization, that because it is mentioned into your epics and text, this glorification often it is harmful, frankly. See, there are few things you need to remember. There are many things which actually happened, we have evidence of that, and we need to accept that, and that is going to increase our soft power. But when you take pride into fictional things, जिसका कोई proof नहीं है, just because it is part of a text, that does not mean it to be a historical fact. अब इसका मतलब ये होगा कि कल को अगर कोई ये बिलीव करना शुरू कर दे कि हैरी पॉटर जो है हॉगवर्ट्स था, हैरी पॉटर था, so it's like that. So if something is mentioned in text does not mean, what you should appreciate is that people are writing it in detail. People have, जिस तरीके से अभी हम फैंटेसी जॉनरा वो करते हैं, उस टाइम भी लोग लिख रहे थे. So that in itself is a great literary accomplishment. And there are lot of things which we should take pride in. जो इंडिया का कल्चरल हेरिटेज है, it is really rich. We are a civilizational state. We have a history of more than 3,000 years, even more than that. 4,000 years. 2600 BC, first cities. So we have a history of more than 4,000 years, and there are so many things we should take pride in. But at the same time, ये जो extra accomplishments हैं, जैसे the reason I'm talking about is that lot of things which are mentioned, जैसे चरक जो है, चरक संहिता is a great work of Ayurveda. सुश्रुत संहिता is a great work of Ayurveda. We know it for a fact because चरक संहिता की जो theories हैं and the way diseases have been given कि disease diagnosis आप कैसे कर सकते हो, आप diseases को treat कैसे कर सकते हो, lot of those theories have scientific basis. So this is something which we should take pride in. Same is also true for सुश्रुत संहिता, that it is very what अभी जो plastic surgery होता है, what Shushruta writes in his textbook, it is very similar to that, a text which was written thousands of years ago. So there are a lot of things which you should take pride in. But the moment you take pride in or you try to कि पुष्पक विमान ऐसी जो interplanetary travel and missile, Brahmastra was a missile, things like that, then it becomes problematic. Then you are actually not doing any favor to your story. फिर you will be ridiculed basically. So आप अगर कुछ argue कर रहे हो तो उसके पीछे logic होना चाहिए. And there are a lot of things which we should take pride in. But at the same time, just because we want to believe in something does not make it to be true. ये मैं बार बार बोलूँगा कि आप if you want to believe in कि हाँ हमारे जो ancestors थे they knew about missiles and nuclear weapons and interplanetary travel, if you want to believe in, then you are not going to accept other evidences. So you have to develop critical thinking here. So the reason I'm mentioning Charak Samhita here is that it is a great work we should take pride in, even though recently there was a controversy. किसी को पता है controversy क्यों हुआ था? किसी का मेडिकल बैकग्राउंड है? एनीवन अ डॉक्टर हियर? कोई भी? हाँ, जो चरक शपथ का कौन? एनीवन अ डॉक्टर? एक जो ये पूरा एक हमको जो प्लेज लेना होता है डॉक्टर्स को, क्या बोलते हैं उसको? हाँ, हिपोक्रेट कुछ ओथ होता है ना, हिपोक्रेट वेद ओथ. सो एनी टाइम व्हेन यू बेसिकली आप एक बहुत पुराना ओथ है दैट एज अ डॉक्टर आपको एक ओथ लेना होता है, एक प्लेज लेना होता है कि आप पेशेंट्स में डिफरेंशिएट नहीं करोगे. तो चरक संहिता ऑल्सो टॉक्स अबाउट अ प्लेज विच इज कॉल्ड चरक शपथ in the same textbook. Now one of the medical college in Tamil Nadu, instead of taking Hippocrate oath, which is a pledge taken by doctors, they used Charak Shapath, part of Charak Shapath, and that created a lot of controversy. So कि ये हम allow नहीं करेंगे. अब जो part लिया गया था, that is frankly quite good. But if you read the entire Charak Shapath, you will find certain problems with it. That उस टाइम के जो societal realities थे, you are going to find those societal realities. जैसे one of them will be कि एक कोई डॉक्टर किसी वुमन को तभी ट्रीट करेगा जब मेल मेंबर साथ में आई हो. सो वुमन के पास फ्रीडम नहीं है इन द सेंस. अब आई कैन इंटरप्रेट दिस इन टू वेज, लाइक ईदर टू प्रोटेक्ट परहैप्स कि अब यहाँ पे इंटेंशन क्या है. एक इंटेंशन ये है कि वुमन शुड ऑलवेज बी विथ अ मेल मेंबर, दे डू नॉट हैव ओन इंडिपेंडेंस. और अनदर कैन बी दैट ये पूरा एक एलिगेशन ना हो. ये भी एक हो सकता है कि दिस एलिगेशन ऑफ लूज कैरेक्टर ऑफ द डॉक्टर, दैट कैन ऑल्सो बी वन ऑफ द रीजन. Similarly, one of the part of Charak Shapath is that ब्राह्मण्स को है सबसे पहले हम ट्रीट करेंगे, जो ब्राह्मण्स होंगे उनको सबसे पहले ट्रीट करेंगे. इवन दो इट टॉक्स अबाउट treating all peasants, Brahmins have given a advantage here. So there are certain things which are, in fact, they actually represent social reality of that period of time. But if you are going to use it in modern times, that becomes problematic. So Charak Shapath recently was in news because it was criticized by certain scholars, jo Hippocrate oath, which is very popular across the world. So rather than that, Charak Shapath was used for in a medical college in Tamil Nadu. So anyways, Charak Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, there are some other great names like Bijak, Dhanvantri, who are pioneer of Ayurveda, and these are things which we should take pride in. Yeah, Hippocratic oath जिसको हम बोलते हैं. Write down. Kanishk became a great patron of art and architecture. Kanishk became a great patron of art and architecture. Art and architecture. Two schools of sculpture. Two schools of sculpture. Gandhara School of Art, Gandhara School of Art, and Mathura School of Art, Mathura School of Art flourished during his reign. Flourished during his reign. Flourished during his reign. Gandhara included Greco-Roman features. Gandhara school included Greco-Roman features. Greco-Roman features. Greco-Roman features. While Mathura school is indigenous. Mathura school is indigenous. So I will tell you few features. अगर आप कभी जाके simply search करना, Gandhara sculpture, Buddhist sculptures मिलेंगे, mainly आपको बुद्धा के sculptures मिलेंगे. You are going to find curly hair of Buddha, which was very popular among Greek deities. You are going to find muscular Buddha. So जो Greek deities हैं, जो Greek gods हैं, they are very muscular. Zeus, Apollo, ये बहुत muscular हैं. So similarly, you are going to find even in Gandhara school of sculpture के जो बुद्धास होंगे, they will be muscular. So you are going to find lot of similarities between Greek sculpture and Gandhara sculpture. But at the same time, if you go and see Mathura sculpture के जो art होंगे, जो बुद्धा की images होंगी, that will be very different. And those differences not only we can pinpoint, we need to write it down. आपको देख के ही पता चलेगा कि these two belong to entirely different school of sculpture. The third is Amravati, which was patronized by Satvahana rulers. But don't worry, ये sculpture detail में आपको ऐसे भी art and culture का एक बहुत important part है. आपको सारे school of sculpture detail में पढ़ाएंगे. So third school of sculpture, which is contemporary to Gandhara and Mathura, is Amravati school of art. Write down in next bullet point. Kushana Empire became prosperous. Kushana Empire became prosperous because they controlled a large part of Silk Route. They controlled a large part of Silk Route. आप ब्रैकेट में लिख लेना, a trade route which connected ancient China to Europe. A trade route which connected ancient China to Europe. large part of Silk Route and Uttarpath. Uttarpath. Write down a trade route. A trade route in India. A trade route in India which connected Punjab and Bengal. Trade route in India which connected Punjab and Bengal. Punjab and Bengal. In fact, जो पूरा उत्तर पथ है, in many texts, उत्तर पथ जो पूरा northern territory है, it is collectively known as उत्तर पथ. Write down. Kushanas issued gold coins of very high quality. Kushanas issued gold coins of very high quality. Very high quality. In fact, the golden age of Gupta, the golden age of Gupta was founded upon with the decline of Kushana Empire. With the decline of Kushana Empire. Kushanas also contributed to modern clothing such as overcoats and sherwanis. Overcoats and sherwanis. One of the most famous sculpture from ancient world is of Kanishk. The head has not survived, so headless sculpture of Kanishk. But if you just look at this sculpture, it is clearly visible that a king who is wearing a overcoat. तो ये जो overcoat और शेरवानी जो अभी भी बहुत popular है in the entire subcontinent region, it actually came with Kushanas. And एक last point लिख लेना. With the decline of trade on Silk Route, Kushana Empire also declined. Vasudev I was the last great king of Kushana. After his death, empire disintegrated. His empire disintegrated. There are some other names like the son of Kanishk was Huvishk, Vashishk. So there are some names, I don't think you need to remember other names. But Vasudev I is considered, so empire, kingdom may have survived for some time, but whatever was left was later occupied by Gupta rulers. So one of the great empire of ancient world which existed, that declined by 3rd century, early part of 3rd century. And from there, in fact, you have in the North India, you have emergence of Gupta Empire. So initially kingdom, by the way, Gupta Empire was not set up by Chandragupta. That should be, I am going to discuss this in detail. It was founded by a king called Shrigupta. And Shrigupta, his son was Ghatotkacha, and Ghatotkacha's son was Chandragupta. Now Chandragupta is considered as the first great king of Gupta Empire. So what was kingdom? It became an empire under the reign of Chandragupta, but that will be my next topic. We are going to talk about in the same time period. By the way, I am now going to shift spatially, not temporally. Time period हम आगे नहीं जा रहे, अब हम region shift कर रहे हैं. So what is happening in Deccan and South? That is my next theme. We have not talked about it till now. हमने अभी discuss नहीं करे. So in Deccan, a very important development occurred is emergence of Satvahana kingdom, and in South again a region which is called Sangam age. Sangam age because 3 assembly of poets occurred in the region of Tamil Nadu, and these 3 assembly of poets are known as Sangam poets, and that led to development of some great Tamil literature, which in fact becomes the major source to know about this entire region. So we are going to talk about Deccan region में जो Satvahana का emergence है, and after that we will talk about Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, and especially जो Sangam age है. But I don't think we have enough time to start a new topic here. So we will discuss about Satvahanas and Sangam age, these 2 topics. That will be our next topic. उसके बाद हम गुप्ता पीरियड डिस्कस करेंगे. There is a question by Rashmi. It was Bhima catfishes or Kujala cat. Both of them issued gold coins. Bhima catfishes, Kujala catfishes, both of them issued gold coins. Guys, just be quiet for few seconds. But the number of gold coins as well as their quality, that increased during Kanishk, when Kanishk became the ruler.